Let's talk about the swimmer's body illusion. What is the swimmer's body illusion? That's a good question. Let's start with a simple definition. Quote, the commonly held belief that a person could obtain a great physique like that of an elite swimmer by training the same way they do. End of quote. The swimmer's body illusion is a cognitive bias, and the fundamental idea is that the correct way of thinking is that the elite swimmer is born with a body for swimming, not the other way around. Fundamentally, we can't get the swimmer's physique just by training like the swimmer. This assessment places a heavy favourable emphasis on the power of genetics. And there is also another way. There is another way to reintegrate this analogy. Now, if we think we can become an elite swimmer by copying their routine, again, we are undermining their superior genetics. In both cases, this highlights a cognitive bias, and we will give various examples of this. So let's begin this journey and analyze this train of thought accordingly. Now, in boxing, Floyd Mayweather is considered one of the greatest boxers of all time. Quick disclaimer, I love boxing, so we're going to discuss this example for a bit, but I will relate it back to the swimmer's body illusion, I promise. So bear with me. Now, there are other great fighters, of course. Evander Holyfield, my personal favourite, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Roy Jones, Rocky Marciano, Jack Johnson, George Foreman. It's a long list. But let's get back to Floyd Mayweather. Now, he of course is notorious. He is notorious for his training, and allegedly he trains all the time. He clearly lives the life. And of course, this may be part of his success, part being the operative word, but it would be a mistake to attribute all of his boxing success to his dedication, because many fighters train all the time and are dedicated, but do not reach the levels of Floyd Mayweather. Many have used the Philly shell defense and have become unstuck. So the swimmer's body illusion here is making the mistake that dedication to training is the only recipe of success. Now, admittedly, this is subjective, but Floyd's incredible reflexes are surely genetic predispositions. His visual ability in the boxing context to not only see punches but avoid punches is what sets him apart, as he is regarded as one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time. And his boxing IQ, probably a reflection of being raised in a boxing family, gives him another hidden advantage. But these are mainly genetic components beyond his control, or beyond our control. Let's give another example. It has been said that the heavyweight boxer Ernie Shavers was the biggest puncher that ever lived. Some say he hit even harder than George Foreman, and George Foreman was a phenomenal puncher. So here is a question. If you did the same training regime as Ernie Shavers, would you punch like Ernie Shavers? If you trained like Floyd Mayweather, would you become a boxing great like Floyd Mayweather? Correlation does not mean causation, and this is an example of the swimmer's body illusion. Now, I'm enjoying this, so let's give some more examples. Let's talk about guitar. Now, John McLaughlin, he is an elite level guitarist, and when you think of guitarists, you think of B.B. King, Carlos Santana, Jimi Hendrix, Frank Zappa. The list is extensive. Now let's get back to John. Now I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that being a great guitarist is having great, fine motor skills. Now I say this because part of playing the guitar requires your fingers, therefore great dexterity in your fine motor skills seems like a rational conclusion. But obviously there must be other elements. So what are these other elements? I can think of musical intelligence, rhythm, creativity, etc. But the fingers part is at least part of the foundation, if not the foundation, for playing the guitar itself. Because John McLaughlin's guitar playing speed suggests to me that he may have the most incredible fine motor skills of all time. Now this fine motor skill ability, remember fine motor skills is referring to the fingers, is clearly genetic. Yes, it's been harnessed with practice, and allegedly John McLaughlin used to sleep in his bed with his guitar. I'm sure he meant this figuratively. But if you don't have that genetic potential, could you play like John McLaughlin? Here's another question. Could John McLaughlin train you or prepare you to play better than John McLaughlin if you did not have those fine motor skills? That great dexterity in the fingers and hands, from my view, that looks like a game changer. But how is this the swimmer's body illusion? To put simply, if I slept in the bed with my guitar every day for the rest of my life, and if I practiced every day for the rest of my life, I still would not be able to play guitar like John McLaughlin. And the reason for this is because correlation does not necessarily mean causation, and that is the swimmer's body illusion. So this is a quick intermission. Now I have a social enterprise called Neuro Expression, and the purpose of this social enterprise is to empower neurodivergent people, neurodivergent communities, and neurodivergent artists, and we do this in a variety of ways. Now one of the things I am working on is what I call an accessible format for neurodivergent thinkers. It's important, it's very important to acknowledge that visual learning materials are essential for neurodivergent thinkers. Now if you want to know more about this, after you have finished watching the video, you can download my free, yes free, PDF called What is Dyspraxia? And the link to this will be in the description box. Now let's get back to the video. And there are so many examples of the swimmer's body illusion. Let's take chess players. Bobby Fischer, amazing player, incredible innovation. Garry Kasparov, Anatoly Karpov, Magnus Carlsen, etc. All incredible players. You don't get to compete at that elite level by just practicing every day. There is something innate, whether it's mathematical intelligence within the chess context, that just transcends what one can learn naturally. And of course, practice, dedication, mastery can make us good. It can make us very good. For example, we can become good chess players, we can become good boxers, we can become good piano players, we can become good violinists, we can become good swimmers. But greatness is different. Greatness in most cases is reserved for talent and ability that is deeply connected in our genes, and what some would call God-given. Here's a question. Was Deontay Wilder born a powerful puncher, or was his power taught? Could Deontay Wilder teach you how to punch like Deontay Wilder? I would argue no, because it's genetic. It's mainly genetic. Of course, technique is important, but the genetic element of power is overbearing in this context. And Michael Phelps, he had the body, he had the genetics that made him stand apart. Of course, dedication and commitment is also essential. But you may commit to swimming like Michael Phelps, but there is 1 in a million chance that you will swim like Michael Phelps. And that is the swimmer's body illusion. Correlation does not mean causation. Or to put it another way, correlation does not definitely mean causation. In conclusion, I feel the swimmer's body illusion has a premise, and that premise focuses on the strength of genetics. If you believe, for example, in the concept of epigenetics, you may question this premise. Also, I challenge you to challenge my perspective. My understanding could be objectively or subjectively wrong. Also, there may be a better way, there may be some better examples that I could use. The point here is that I try to be the student, and I want to learn from other people's perspectives. Finally, if you want to know more about the swimmer's body illusion, you can find it in the following books. Book number 1, The Black Swan. Book number 2, The Art of Thinking Clearly. This is a great book, I highly recommend it. And finally, book number 3, Thinking Fast and slow. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed the content.